It is the RIOT podcast.
Last one for the week.
Yes. So hope that you guys enjoy it. Let's see. What do we got here? We got free breakfast. Tell me when you hear this story that you don't, something happened today. I don't know.
Blessed day, right? A miracle.
Yeah. The inventor of the Post-it note, iYoga, the Friends reunion, lightning, mounting a TV, Pokemon cards, Disney, wedding gifts, Land Rovers on Mars.
Going back to Pokemon, it's not just Pokemon, but we talk about sports trading cards too. And if you go to Target and Walmart, how that's going to be changed now.
It's great. Like that story is, I get it, but it's also like, what's going on?
But you're not surprised. Like if you're anywhere near Reddit or TikTok, like you can literally see it's such a huge increase in people fighting about these cards. I had no idea people would still wait for these things. Like there's days that the shipments come in. Like it's a real thing. And both of these places just got tired of what all went with having these cards in their stores.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a
real eye-opener, isn't it, Obi?
Well, not for, it's funny, like, not for us, because like you said, we see that all the time.
But for everybody else.
But I feel like the normies are like, what's happening?
You never knew this was going on.
It's crazy. The thing that I just keep coming back to is I can't believe that we're at this point where, like, there's these shortages, but when they always show you those like dark futuristic movies and people are fighting over food and bread and like whatever. That's not the dystopia we live in.
No.
We're fighting over Pokemon cards.
That's it.
PlayStation 5s. Now that's some affluenza if I've ever heard it. Right? Come on. Well, hey, look, you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday.
Enjoy the podcast. Thank you.
Bye.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the RIOT podcast.
I got to tell you, I don't want to say that there was some sort of divine intervention here. I don't think that it would be completely true to say that God was involved. And yet, listen to my story. There's a new gas station.
Yeah.
I drive past its exit each day.
Yeah.
I don't go there because it's not on the way.
And
not really.
You'd have to get off
the freeway
to get it. Okay.
But this morning, for reasons I can't understand, I saw, you know how they have that sign, like the stuff that's happening at the exit?
Yeah.
And I just noticed it on the sign and I was like, you know what? I'm a little early.
Yeah.
Why don't we
Friday.
It's Friday. Let's just stop in there.
Let's see what they have.
Let's see. So I did. And I went in. And they had just had fresh donuts delivered.
Oh,
and I actually thought, I was like, dude, don't do that. No, donuts are not, they're sometimes food and not a great breakfast food. You're going to end up sleepy and regretful. And I just thought, you know what? It just feels right.
So did you?
I don't know how to explain it. It feels right. So I did. And I discovered these apple fritters that were like apple fritters I've never had before. They actually had like apple stuffing in the middle. Mm-hmm. Very good. And I got myself a soda and I thought, well,
just to, hydrate.
This is enough. And I went up to the counter and I tried to pay.
Uh-huh.
And this guy was having all kind of trouble and he was like, well, I guess it's just free today.
Look at that.
So then I just went out to my car on my left and I was like, you know what?
Yes, it is a miracle.
See?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
And if you wouldn't have listened, you got to slow down sometimes to listen.
It's one of those things like, was there an audible voice? No.
Don't know. Just a nudging in your heart.
Was there handwriting in the sky? No. But there was a nudging.
Uh-huh. And it was free.
And it led me to a free donut and soda today. So all I'm trying to say is this. That maybe there's not a free donut out there for you.
Not today, maybe.
But just be open to some possibilities today.
So just make sure you're listening. Man, you'd be like driving to every place, just waiting around, trying to get a free one.
Is your cash register working? Yes.
Okay, I got to go then.
No reason.
I'm going to go to the next one. You spend more in gas just trying to get something for free.
I can't explain it, Nikki.
Yeah. So the apple fritter was good? Really good?
It was next level.
That's nice.
It was next level. And of course, now the temptation will be to try to recreate this event every morning, which I won't.
But it'd be nice.
There was something special about today.
Wow. It's going to be a good day and a good weekend, guys.
Wow.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
So, Nikki, I'm looking here at, everything that exists had to be invented.
Sure.
Somebody had to come up with that. So imagine your Post-it note. You ever use those? The little notes with the little sticky on the back? Just put it somewhere.
Sure.
I especially, not as much now, but there was a time in my life when that was
you really love
my
those.
whole life.
Yeah, it worked. It clicked with you.
It did because I can't remember things. So I would be like, I'll never remember this. Put it on a sticky note. Put it on the door.
Well,
put it under your monitor. Put it on the whatever.
Do you use your stickies on your Mac or? Because they're just little Post-it notes on the screen.
I used to do that a lot.
Yeah, but not as much anymore.
Not as much these days, which is not to say never.
Sure.
But not as much. So it's just amazing to me that things have to be invented because we've just grown up with that. That's ubiquitous. They've been everywhere. Well, Spencer Silver is the name of the man that invented the adhesive that went on the back of those notes.
Ooh, so I'm sure it's involved in other things too. It's not just Post-it notes.
Yeah, in 1974, he called it a solution waiting for a problem. Mm-hmm. And he used, this is amazing, he used this stuff on the back of pieces of paper to stop paper bookmarks from falling out of the hymn book when he sang in church.
Really? That's cool.
And then he designed what he called the press and peel memo pad, and then they renamed it the Post-it.
Yeah.
In 1980.
Did he, is there a story? Like what's currently going? Okay. So.
Yeah. So, but.
He just died or been dead?
No, he just died.
He just died. Okay.
He just died. He's 80 years old.
Aw, well, that's a good contribution he made.
Well, that's what I was thinking is like this guy,
he did
in a
something.
lot of ways, kind of change. I mean, did he change the world like the printing press? No. Did he still change the world?
Yes.
Heck yeah, he did.
In a more practical way.
In the most hilarious, I invented an adhesive we have no use for kind of way.
It's not all about money, but just curious, did he live a Post-it note wealthy lifestyle? Like, did you get a lot of money for Post-it note glue?
I mean, the only problem there would be is that he worked for 3M when he made it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that 3M probably technically owns it. But you know what? You don't get the feeling that it didn't
get to his head.
You don't get the feeling he was hungry.
Sure.
Or like things weren't like he didn't retire on big Post-it, but he kept working his job until the late 90s.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm fascinated by that. So you know what? You don't know. Some little thing you're doing right now, one day you spin it into something that seems inconsequential, and it changes the world.
It does.
And Obadiah suddenly remembers to bring the thing to work that he's been trying to remember forever.
Because you made the Post-it note stuff, and you made a difference.
Unbelievable.
Cool. Very nice. Well, not excited and happy that he passed away, but it seemed like he lived a great life.
Hey, we are celebrating this man right now.
Another 3 minutes of Obadiah talking about some tech thing he wants to buy. Worst of the Riot podcast.
Is iYoga a thing too?
It's everybody just relax into that phrase for a minute. iYoga.
And you're like letter I? No, like eyeball, like your eyes. iYoga.
Okay, it makes some sense. Paul McCartney, the Beatles guy, who went on to do whatever all he's done. He said that he met a guy who taught him what he called iYoga. So here's the idea. The guy that taught him this was like, listen, your ears, I can't help you. Mm-hmm. You can't hear. Your eyes are muscles. So you can strengthen the muscles in your eyes and you can improve your vision. And so he taught him what he calls iYoga, and they are exercises for his eyes that he says improved his vision.
So if you have especially if you do a lot of screen time and you have blurred vision from that, itchy and watery eyes, headaches, double vision, eye strain sort of things, they say that it might help because so many of us are just so focused on screens right now that does cause issues.
I would like to know what he said. It was stuff like where you look in one direction and almost like try hard to look in that direction. And then you go the other way and like look to where you really kind of feel a little strain in your eye and you're looking and you hold it for however many seconds. It was enough to make me be like, this is the dumbest sounding thing I've ever heard that makes total sense.
But it could actually work. I'm looking at an article. They say palming. So you put your hands together for 10 to 15 seconds until they're warm. And then you put them over your eyes and then on your forehead. What
does that help? Does the warmth help them relax?
Yeah, it's like the warmth and the energy with it. They say eye rolling, normally when you're just doing it because you're upset at something, now you can make it yoga if you roll your eyes. Focus shifting.
I'm sorry, I was just doing eye
yoga. It's not you, but focus shifting, distance gazing, and that seems to be the top 4 things you can do.
Distance gazing is something that I do, actually. Like they say you should do it every hour if you spend a lot of time looking at a screen to go outside or something and force yourself to stare at something that's far away for 60 seconds.
They say while you're staying relaxed in your eyes and your face, though. So if you're indoors, look out a window, just go and look at a distant object while you're doing some deep breathing, and then shift your gaze to another distant object around you. So you're kind of like taking it all in.
Right.
It sounds stupid at first, but it's actually not too bad.
Maybe the thing that's really stupid is staring at something that's a foot from your face all day.
Just basically, we're staring at our phones and our screens, and that can cause eye problems. So they call this EYE yoga for your eyes.
So as we said, it sounds so stupid.
But there's nothing you can do with your ears, so you need to see, some support if there's problems there. But your eyes, you can actually work on.
That's what they're saying.
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Today should be a big deal, but I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in myself. Today is the day that Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming out.
So it is the remastered?
It's the first game is remastered. I don't know what they've done to 2 and 3, but it's all out there. It's $60. You can get it for PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series S and X, just PC, et cetera, et cetera.
So is it everything but Switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, that's a way better way to say it.
I think that's just an easier way.
Okay, thanks, Nikki.
You're welcome.
But you know what? I don't think I want it.
I think you're searching,
I don't.
You want a new game, but this isn't a new game, but I'm sure it looks really nice with what they remastered.
I'm sure it does, but I watched some videos of it last night and I started thinking like, okay, I love watching remastered movies. Yeah. Like where they've done all this, that, and the other. And
one would assume you would like that in the gaming world.
I even like to get a good look at a game like that. Mm-hmm. But then I started thinking, like, I'm going to pay $60 for what I think is probably going to be about an hour of gameplay because I don't want to playing through all those Mass Effect games again. What are you talking about? 100 hours, 120 hours. I mean, that is work. That's like a month.
And you already did that work.
Yeah, I did. And I had a great time doing it.
Sure.
I just don't think I can go back.
So are the fact that there's 3 Mass Effect games included in is not enticing at all to replay all 3 of them?
I don't think so. I don't know. Like, because here's what I come down to is I thought like today after the show, I'm DJing a wedding tomorrow, so my Saturday's kind of gone. I got to travel. It's a long wedding. And so I don't have a ton of free time this weekend. And then I started thinking about the idea of like, yeah, let's start this narrative-focused game that you're just going to sit there.
Okay, so maybe not now, but maybe when it's not $60. You can wait till like Black Friday.
I used to, yes.
You could totally wait it out till then.
There it is.
Or remember the summer Steam sales and stuff?
Another good idea.
Easily wait.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to wait.
It's not forever. It's not a no forever. It's just a
no for now.
No for now, and we'll see you when you're less money than $60.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. When they announced it, I was like, what? And if I could have had it when they announced it, it would have happened. But now that we're out here in the muck and the mire of everyday life, and you're thinking about money and time and things.
So Mass Effect Legendary Edition is out today. They're saying it's about 3 hours of gameplay.
3 hours?
They're just saying thoughts. No. They're showing 3 hours of gameplay.
I was going to say something's not right there. And I'm just going to I'm a little disappointed in myself, and I'll tell you this right now. If younger me could see me right now, the tongue lashing that I would receive.
Well, it feels like you've grown up a bit and just waiting.
You know what, guys? The wedding's canceled. Somebody call him and tell.
You can't do that. No, it's still going on. So maybe next weekend or down the road.
We'll just wait. It's fine. Everybody just relax.
You can pay for it because of working.
You're gonna work.
And then you can pay for it.
Boy, now that is the true dichotomy of adult life. Now that you have a job, you can afford the stuff you want, but because of your job, you don't have the time to play with it.
That's perfect.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
It happened last night.
What happened?
The announcement was made.
Which?
The Friends reunion.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
May 27th.
So it's not, though, like... At first, I thought in the beginning they were supposed to film like a special, like a new episode or something, but it's not. It just seems like it's a sit down
like it's a talk show or something.
Yeah, where they're talking about it and then they're having special guests.
Who cares?
Well, if you're into Friends, then maybe you do.
No, I get it. But like, okay, I wasn't Friends. I like Seinfeld. And usually you're one or the other. And so when I look at this, I'm just like, if the cast of Seinfeld got together and had a talk show, I would just be like, nah.
I wonder if they're still mad. Nah. Would they ever do that?
No, I think they they seem to have buried.
They were okay with it?
Seems like they passed around enough money that everybody got happy again.
There was always the issue with money. And the problem was like with these older shows when they started streaming or syndication or, like selling the episodes, the problem became like, everybody got different amounts.
Oh, yeah.
From those episodes.
Because they wrote their deals so differently.
They did back then because they didn't know about streaming, back in that time. So everybody's deals were different and not everybody was always excited about the outcome of that.
Right. So that's, I don't know. Yeah. But Friends, I thought it was going to be what you said. A straight up show.
Scripted thing.
A scripted thing where the characters were back.
Well, that might morph into that eventually, or, maybe they'll do like a table read or something. Maybe there'll be something else.
I love that right there. A table read.
Something. They'll just read through some episodes, but it seems like they're just going to be talking about Friends, and that's it.
All right. Well, I feel like most of that cast has been making money talking about Friends for the last 20 years.
Yeah. But I feel like they've all done their own thing. And
they have.
A lot of that's all fizzled out. So maybe most of them have time to do something else.
You go back to the well,
Yeah, you go back to what made you.
Yeah.
So that's it's HBO Max, right?
All right. It is. So, and hey, Nikki, guess what? We have HBO Max until June. I forgot to cancel it.
You forgot to cancel? I don't use yours. I still have my own. I could never log in that one night, so I just have my own.
See, when I log in now, it says Obadiah Nikki.
Oh, it does. I never did because I must have missed the password for it. And then this was back with Godzilla. I was watching it late. I wanted to watch it. It was later, and I didn't want to bug you that late at night. So I was like, I'll just reactivate mine. So you can cancel whenever you want to cancel.
No, I did cancel. I canceled earlier this week when I got billed again.
But it was still too late.
Crap.
One more month of it. So the Friends reunion thing, I didn't catch, when is it supposed to air?
May 27th.
May 27th.
That's like 2 weeks from yesterday.
Well, now you'll have HBO Max to be able to watch that.
I'm so glad. You know what? We're going to call
that. It really worked out.
We're going to call that a happy accident.
It's true. It's a happy accident. I feel like this was supposed to be done. This was pushed back a lot with COVID. This had kind of been something they wanted to promote more when HBO Max had Friends, when it shifted over from its time off of Netflix.
And is that the place where Friends lives now? Is HBO Max?
Yeah, I believe so.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the Riot. RadioU.
There is a reason why you can always trust the Riot to make the right call.
There is a reason?
There is a reason why.
We try our best, but...
Do you need somebody to show you how? Do you need somebody to make it right? The Riot can do that. And here's why. According to this study they've done in Australia, being in a good mood can cloud people's judgment.
Ooh.
So what does that tell you about us?
We're not in a bad mood. We're just, again, realists about moods in life, in your mood in life and now. So is it always a good mood? No, and we're okay with that.
We can
but
help
we're not
you.
in bad moods. We're just neutral.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not in a bad mood right now.
But would you say you're in a good mood, or
No.
everybody's too tired for that?
I'm just here.
That's perfect.
So, but I think, Nikki, that probably lends itself to a certain amount of realism.
Yeah.
I could help talk you through your good mood and why you shouldn't have it.
So if you have a good mood, let's fix this right now.
Have you ever, I will say though, have you ever had a friend that's like, we should do this and we should do that? And you're like, hey.
It's tiring. It's tiring.
Hey.
But that's their personality. And I mean, that is what they are.
I do have some people in my life that are like that, where I'm just like, you know what? You're too upbeat. And here's what I can tell you. You're excited to start now. But I also know that next Wednesday, you're going to be like, why are we even doing this?
Well, when you have friends like that, you want to just hold their hand and be like, listen, I know this isn't how you are all the time. So I need, when you get home and no one's around, I need that person right now. Stop being so happy.
I need you to come back to.
But that's true. I mean, especially if you're putting on a fake sort of facade with it and you're having these upbeat feelings that could make you choose certain things when you're not really looking at the bigger picture.
Nikki, I think you just told me a whole lot about yourself when you said when you're putting up that fake sort of facade of positivity. I think we're talking about people that actually feel good, which you feel like isn't even real.
Well,
that's not even possible.
I don't know if it is.
Someone's really happy. That's not real. They're faking.
No, I don't think like they're as happy as they're putting on a lot of times.
Right. And putting on.
Putting on. Right there.
There it is. You're saying it again. You just assume that they're saying they're happy, and you're like, oh, they're not actually happy.
Well, you're supposed to
it's
fake it until you make it.
No, that's how we do it. There are people
that
in the world
happy?
that are happy, and they're positive outlooking, and they're making terrible choices.
Which makes everybody else feel better.
Yeah.
But again, we're happy. It's just different. It's just a different thing. We shouldn't read any more into this.
You think we're done?
I think we're done. No, actually, it is kind of fascinating, though. They say that you just, the positive feelings, you just want to make sure that it is leading to correct choices. Just like if you were too negative, that would also
be
lead
a problem.
to problems with choices. You want to go right down the middle.
I feel like you and I are like we're going to set up in the town square. Not exactly thrones, but just kind of these chairs where people will come and be like, you know what? I'm having a great Friday. Do you think I should buy the Mass Effect Legendary Edition?
That's it.
And we would say, no. You don't like it as much as you think you do.
So if you
don't remember how you have to go to work on Monday.
If you would classify yourself as someone who's always in a good mood, whether you deep down are or not, they say that you take things at more face value without challenging or questioning any of those things. So that could lead you to taking in false information, stories, or struggling with some of those choices later on.
But then if you're like Nikki, you say things like putting on a good mood.
Yeah, but
not
no one
as happy
knows.
as
No one knows. It's still fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, I heard everything I need to know.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Man, my grandma, she's no longer with us, but she, through, I believe, the majority of my childhood, told the story of somebody she knew that was on the phone during a thunderstorm and lightning struck and fire shot out of the phone.
You're dead? Like real, or is she just telling a story?
No, I can assure you she was convinced of it.
See, now I don't know because we don't have phones like that. But we are always told, like, don't go in the shower if there's a lightning storm.
I kept telling her she was so great. I'm like, Grandma, because she would be like, get off the phone. And it was like, Grandma,
what phone?
There's the house phone. And it was like, Grandma, it's cordless. So, like, even if lightning struck, it
could jump.
Would blow. No.
It could jump.
It couldn't. It couldn't. And so she, like, that's why anytime anybody talks about something and lightning, I just see the look on my grandma's face as she describes the fire coming from the phone.
A few buildings ago, though, RadioU, we got struck by lightning and we were on air. And no joke, that thing went through the entire building, blew things off walls.
It did.
It caused so much damage that
it fried my laptop.
If you tell me it jumps from thing to thing, I'll believe you. It is bad. So you don't want to experience that.
Well, I'll tell you what then. Like, you guys get your lightning stories ready. 877-2-RADIO-U.
That's not a good story. There's no such thing as a good lightning story.
That was crazy. Like, we felt it in our headphones.
It was
like,
awful.
We took our headphones off, ran upstairs. There's like stuff on fire. Like these little door lock things that, you wave a fob in front of.
On the doors.
They blew off the wall.
They did. Even our chimney broke apart.
It's crazy. Yeah, went out into the parking lot and there's like chunks of brick laying around. And it was like, what?
See, not a good lightning story. There is not a possible good lightning story.
Well, I mean, like that one time I was driving through the plains on my way across America. It was July 5th, and there was the craziest lightning storm off to like the left.
Sure.
It was insane. And because you're out in the middle of flat nowhere, I mean, I think I saw it for a solid 2 hours. But I was driving overnight, by the way.
But you're like, wow, it's so beautiful. Is someone else's horrible lightning story.
Right,
they're like, it wouldn't stop for 2 hours.
But see, you said there's no good story.
I know, but it just, at the heart of it, it's going to be something bad for someone.
Okay, maybe. 877-2-RADIO-U. I actually do have a...
You do have a lightning story?
I do have a lightning story, and you're right, Nikki. It's not good.
It's not a good one.
But when I read it, I was like, Grandma, we need to talk. Oh, my gosh. You were right the whole time.
Get off the phone.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Lightning. It's a problem. And want to say hi to Angela. Her lightning story was, my husband and I were driving home from work when lightning struck a tree.
Oh, and knocked
the
it
tree
down.
fell.
Oh, gosh, that must have been scary.
Yeah. I actually had one fry my modem. That was the whole thing. I was home. I was online. And then I had to get a new one.
Well, it's hard to know, like, remember when you were younger and your mom was always so, like, unplug everything and do all this and do all that and, don't get in the shower. And if it was a lightning storm. And now you're just like, well, like, I'm watching TV, you're on your phone, you're whatever.
Well, here comes our cautionary tale, Nikki. Mm-hmm. The tale of a woman. I don't actually have her name, but Eric Harlow of the Guthrie Fire Department got out in front of this story. Here's what happened. Lightning struck her house.
Yeah.
That lightning traveled through the electrical grid in the house and hit her laptop, which she was holding.
Oh, no.
Which she was using to teach a Zoom class.
Aww.
Now, I don't know what happened to her, but they say it was a very, very minor injury. Mm-hmm. She refused treatment at the scene, but she was scared and very shaken.
Oh, was she on a Zoom thing then?
Oh, yeah.
So then everybody was watching that?
Can we get that video?
Oh, I know. Like, what if it was like a kindergarten class and she's like swearing up everything? Just like, well, she's scared. And sometimes when you're scared, you say things you're not proud about later. All right? And they're just like, teacher.
Where's the video? Was somebody recording the video? I need to see it.
It must be recorded somewhere.
I didn't even think about that.
I want to see what happened.
It's so bad, but those are the really good videos.
No, they are.
When people like work really hard to elaborately stage something, when you get somebody who's truly caught off.
Truly hit by lightning.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't think we'll see that. But if anybody finds an article with that footage, we would love to see it. But she's okay, right?
Oh, she's fine.
She's fine.
We wouldn't even be talking about it if she wasn't. And unlike the story we did the other day where I later found out somebody died, I triple checked this one.
You double checked it?
Yes, I did.
So she was plugged, like she was just wired into her stuff?
Well, because she had her laptop plugged in.
Yeah, all right.
So it says here, it's recommended, this is according to the National Weather Service, that you, during a lightning storm, you stay off corded phones. Mm-hmm. You listening, Grandma? and electrical equipment like computers or TVs.
Yeah, you're supposed to turn them off.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could.
Well, technically, you're supposed to unplug it, aren't you? Because even if you turn it off, it'll just fry everything.
I mean, you could unplug it. That would keep it, like if lightning struck it.
Unless it jumps. No,
Land lightning.
Land lightning here. Hello, I'd like to fry your brand new TV you bought. Yeah, go ahead. I'll wait for you to turn it on. Okay, here I come.
So, yes, Nikki, technically, you could go around and unplug everything, and that would.
That's what my mom would always tell me. And it's just in your brain. You're like, oh, just go unplug it. You're like, turn it off. You're like, no, unplug it.
Here's what I love. I love how you buy a $5 like power strip at Walmart, and you're like,
expected to save it.
That'll take care of it.
That'll fix it all.
1.21 gigawatts flies through here, and this little $5 plastic thing is going to take care of everything.
I mean, we love our electronics. We just have to take a little extra care of them if there's a storm.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, Nikki, I don't say this as an insult, but I know you've never mounted a TV before.
I've not. I've been a part of the process.
I was going to say, because if anybody did it was Eric, and you supervised.
Eric's really good at stuff like that. I mean, I've helped, and I have ordered the TV mounts.
Now, listen, isn't that what you get married for?
It's a partnership.
Is you guys are working together
it's a team
to
effort.
make it happen.
Exactly.
So what's important is the TV was mounted, and everybody's still here. We're fine. I've never done that either.
You've never mounted a TV?
Nope.
All right.
In fact, I don't...
Oh, now it upsets you just to even think about it.
I grew up in apartments, basically.
Yeah.
Like I didn't live in a house that I owned until I bought it.
So you couldn't put a TV on the wall?
Well, you would, I still to this day, I'm like, you don't put a hole in the wall? What are you doing?
That's what apartment living will do to you. You're too afraid.
It was just like, you're not, what are you in the wall?
Well,
are
you could
insane?
always do it.
If you break the wall, there's no way to fix the wall.
But you could just fix it before you move out. But
no,
you're right.
That was arcane science not known to my people.
You just couldn't fix it.
No.
But if you own the wall, yeah, you might as well put the TV on it.
Right. So last night I got together with a friend of mine who, like Eric, has mounted lots of TVs. And I had him help me. Now, this wasn't at home. It was somewhere else. But we're mounting these TVs. And I think that mounting a TV might be one of the most terrifying things I've ever been a part of.
Because you're afraid you're going to ruin the wall. You're afraid you're going to do something with the TV and it'll fall down.
And we got this mounting stuff. It didn't come with the bolts it came with the bolts, but not the nuts. So we had to go back to the hardware store because you can never do anything without having to go back to the store at least one time.
I'm sorry, but I think that might be you. That just tends to happen to you a lot. That's just something special about you.
Thanks for letting me know.
Well, I just don't want you to think that that's how it is for everybody. It's not always.
It's fine. I mean,
but you got them up,
I go to the effort to order what I need, and they just don't throw it in there.
Did they just forget, or was it just not included?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't you include it? It wasn't
in the box. Why wouldn't you include it? Very good, Nikki. What a wonderful question you're asking. I have similar questions.
Did you just miss it in the box?
No.
Did it get accidentally thrown away?
Both of us, because it was two TVs we mounted. So we actually opened up the other box maybe it's in here. No.
Well, that's when you go back and you look through the reviews and you see other people who are missing that too.
1 star. No nuts in this box. So we got them and we hung them up. But it's funny. I was reliving it as I was walking out to get coffee. Just that terrifying moment of when you're putting it, you've mounted everything and you're holding it up and you're putting it on. And it's okay, it's there. And it's no, I can't let go.
No one panic. I'll just hold the TV forever.
I will stand here for the rest of my life.
We can take shifts.
We can't trust the wall.
You're right. That's our version of a trust fall or something.
Yes.
You just have to make sure it's just up there and you did it right.
This TV was $1,400. It's not mine.
Wasn't it insurance? So you're fine.
Whatever. I'm just telling you right now that when you see a TV mounted on the wall, you're no big deal.
Especially for years and years. And we got a giant TV
Huge
mounted on
one
the wall next to us.
Yep.
You're just trusting that it stays there.
And I'll just tell you that yesterday I experienced true fear.
Wow, I didn't know that was your first time putting a TV up on the wall.
It was. Wow. Everything you're going to do, at some point you have to do it for the first time. And to be clear, not only am I not an expert, but if you need help, call my friend Brandon.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
Listen, this is why we can't have nice things. All right? As of today, today,
It is.
As of today, Target, I heard Target first, and now I'm seeing it's Target and Walmart.
I think Walmart as well, but Target was the first one to announce it.
Has announced that they will not be selling baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards, or Pokemon cards.
Now, no one cared until you got to Pokemon. They say that having these cards in stores has led to so much verbal and sometimes physical abuse for the people that are coming in to try to buy these things.
Guys.
That we can't have anything nice because they can't handle it. So they're going to online sales only. And yeah, we're really looking at the Pokemon cards because that is the source of a lot of the problems. The only thing to realize, though, is by taking them out of stores, the people are still going to come into stores to try to get them, and they're going to be just as mad.
Well, right. But part of the problem is that there were like physical altercations between customers that the employees were getting in.
Well, now the employee has to tell them that they're not even there.
I know, but in the absence of the card, the likelihood of somebody hitting you because you don't have Pokemon cards is low. The idea of you handing it to another customer and you're trying to get it, then someone hit... I get it.
There'd be lines. People would wait, as in like now they would still be waiting for Pokemon cards, and then they would have to let them in group by group, go back, follow the rules, get whatever you want, and then check out. And people would be mad about waiting in line. There would not be any left. So now they're just going to put a sign up and say you have to go to the website and you have to buy it through Target or Walmart online.
And they're nearly impossible to get online because why? Because bots.
Bots, which is why people would buy them in stores.
So...
I don't know. Adam was asking about Magic cards, like the Gathering ones. I'm not sure if they said, but it seemed like a lot of cards.
I'll tell you this. It looks like they're still selling Magic the Gathering cards because in these photos of these Target shelves, there are signs in front of the Magic cards. So,
well, Steven just texted. He's a sports card collector, and he said the altercations were more about basketball and football cards because they're harder to find than Pokemon cards. But they were also... some negative time with the employees and people coming in about Pokemon stuff too.
It's crazy.
I know people want what they want and they want it all. They want to buy them out and then sell them.
So now, you know what now I could be wrong about this, but this is something I think. I feel like as people start going back to work, things like this won't happen as often. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I've got
people have energy.
They have time.
They have energy and time.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, like if you have a job, I can say this from experience. I was one of those lucky few people that managed to buy one of those really hard to buy graphics cards. But it was random and I got lucky. I am following these Reddit forums where people are driving states away
to get these things,
to camp in line at retail locations to buy stuff. And sometimes they'll camp for 2 days and not get anything.
So, of course, they're going to be mad and they're going to fight.
But see, that's because right now they got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you go back when you go back to work. That's actually how I got one, is that after work I stopped by. They happened to have a truck that came in. It was like, man, it was amazing.
Well, Kyle, he said, when are we going to get Riot trading cards? We don't want to put that out there. We don't want the anger with that.
Listen, it sends the wrong message when people are rioting for Riot cards, okay?
Yeah. Well, Tiffany, this is the best point. She just texted. The biggest problem is adults hoarding the cards, not like kids who want to buy them for fun. Yes.
The grown-ups are embarrassing.
Because you saying it might calm down when people go back to work, I think some of the issue is people have made this their work.
Sure.
So they're trying to resell these items and they'll do whatever it takes to get them, but they're going in stores, but not anymore. So Target and Walmart will not be selling trading card games like for Pokemon, NFL, and baseball.
And basketball. So like none of them. Basically no sports cards. Nobody wants the NHL cards. You can get those. But.
I'm sure they're still
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
You know, before we switch topics, I want to go back to this whole like relationship thing, because one of the things I've thought about is part of what bothers me about stories like that is, you know, my parents got divorced. And so when I see divorce in other people and other things, even when I don't know
the person involved,
the circumstances, whatever, I can tell you that I immediately feel for certain parties because of what happened to me. And so like I graft my situation onto their situation and all that kind of stuff. I get that. I do. Here's something I want you to know is that for a lot of us, we've probably experienced a relationship ending badly like that, or maybe a parent that wasn't there, like whatever it kind of is. What I found is that I take that, my experience into all my relationships moving forward. Like that has been a thing. And so I can remember like dating people, like I'm completely serious about this. Like, and being like, I could have dated somebody for like a month, and if we would break up, it was the most heart-wrenching, devastating, crazy, whatever. And a lot of it really had to do with not that. I mean, we'd only been together for a little while.
Sure, but it was the emotions from everything else. Everything
else being visited on that moment. Then ending up in bad relationships where, boy, I'm getting real honest here, but like I couldn't get out. I couldn't leave the relationship because I was not going to be like someone I knew that I watched leave a relationship. You know, I wasn't going to do that because, you know, my mom and I were on our own for a long time. I wasn't going to be the guy that walked away as if it was remotely the same thing. It was not. But you know what? I had to get all that together. And I want you to know that it was God that helped me do that. You've heard me talk a lot of times about going to therapy and working through some things, but I will tell you that I had an encounter with God where he did something that bottom line felt like magic in my heart. I can still remember it plainly to this day. Going to, when I was in college, we had an on-campus chapel, and something had happened that, really dug into some of those past feelings and emotions or whatever. And I was like, God, I need you to meet me and help me. And I just took off for the chapel, and I got over there, and I had an encounter with God in which I experienced some instantaneous healing. Like God actually came in, and a lot of the issues that I had with my dad, some of the difficulties I had with our divorce, he actually came in, my parents' divorce. He came in and did what I would consider to be some miraculous healing on the spot. And so, again, I tell you a lot of stories about therapy, but I've also experienced right there in the moment something truly unbelievable. I call it magic because it's so amazing, I don't understand it. So here's where I'm coming from. If you're like me, you've got all kinds of pain in your past or whatever, but do you know that I've grown up and I'm doing just fine? Did you know, like, I'm fine. God has healed me. I mean, I still have some things to work out, but there's been like legit healing in my heart and in my mind, and I would even say in my body. And if God can do that for me, surely he can do it for you. Would you be interested? I said to God, please, I need you to come and meet me. And he did. Why don't we start there? Why don't you say, Jesus, I need that. I need you to come and meet me. I'm hurt on the inside. There are things that aren't right. I want you to come into my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. And God, I need to be healed. If he can do it for me, he can do it for you.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
The Walt Disney Company. They do films. They have theme parks.
I think we all know, yes.
They've recently kind of wandered into television production and streaming services.
Yeah, I think we know.
A little obscure, but, they're scrappy.
They're building.
They're out there trying to make it happen. And this summer, they're going to release Black Widow. And that's going to be one of those movies where you can go to the theaters and see it, or for $30, you'll be able to add it as a premium on Disney Plus, should you so desire.
Yeah.
But that's like, they were saying essentially that was the last one. They're like, hey, after this, we're going back to theaters. we're doing regular.
Well, with everything opening back up, they wanted to then have a normal window in a theater. Then you can usually pre-buy it somewhere and then, buy it the traditional way. Is it 45 days after its release? That's traditionally, I think, the time.
No. Traditionally, it's 90 days.
Is it 90 days?
Yes. And that's where this news comes from. Disney has just announced that with their fall movies, which would be Free Guy, which that's the one with Ryan Reynolds, where he's a video game character who is an NPC, and all of a sudden he just starts doing other things in the video game world. And then also Shang-Chi, it's like in the Legend of the Ten Rings or something like that. That other Marvel movie that's coming out, they've said that, this fall, but we're not going to wait a whole 90 days before we do something with them, so they'll introduce them in 45 days.
Oh, so now this is following the lead of other studios that have also moved it to 45 days.
Oh, really? Now, see, that part I didn't see.
So Warner Brothers and Universal, so Disney's now joined with that. So it seems like for most releases in the future, theaters for 45 days instead of the 90 days, and then it'll have its distribution to streaming platforms, or if you want to buy it, that sort of stuff.
I wonder if it'll be one of those things where they're like, okay, for 45 days, it's a theater exclusive. And on the 46th day, you can buy it early for $25 or $30. And then it'll be like another... They're
going to try to get money out of it somehow. Because if you're streaming, yes, we're paying monthly for it, but they want more money out of you.
Yeah, how can we get more?
They want more out of you, and they'll figure out a way for it. Disney Plus also announced that subscriber-wise, they're at 103.6 million Disney Plus subscribers, which is a bit less than the 109 million that they wanted to project for this time.
What? How can they be less? They're less, but that's after that they were like, within a month we hit our 3-year goal. So, they probably adjusted their goals.
I think that was what they had wanted to project for this time. But, at this point, it's been kind of quiet, right? You have the low-key stuff coming up, but that's about it.
Well, you had that.
The Winter Soldier stuff.
I understand that these may not appeal to us.
Of course.
But they had the Mighty Ducks TV show. They are doing a new Star Wars cartoon. And they
had the WandaVision, which is huge.
High School Musical, the series is back on. That started today, I believe.
I feel like we've been at a month with some quiet stuff.
I agree with you.
And if you didn't watch Winter Soldier, or if you weren't into it as much, it's been not as busy.
Winter Soldier was a huge win for me. I seriously enjoyed Winter Soldier.
But I don't think it drove a lot to Disney Plus.
New subscribers?
Yeah, whereas WandaVision really, I think, drove because people were so bored and it was so interesting and people really seemed to love it. This was just, I think, it felt more like to make everybody happy who was already there.
And you know what? It did make me happy. And I'm still on board with the Disney Plus. Probably forever. I might as well, you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and sign my car over?
Just sign everything
Sign
up.
my house over. It's like, here, guys. There you go.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
I don't know if you guys heard, but Tesla is no longer going to be accepting Bitcoin as payment.
For the vehicles?
Yeah, which means I'm not getting a Tesla anymore.
You don't have enough Bitcoin.
You don't know?
I know that yours has gone up, but you didn't put as much in, I think, to get a Tesla amount of Bitcoin.
Okay, so let's check my Bitcoin. Nikki, how much do you think? The last time we checked, it was just over $300.
And it was bigger then, so I would say 210.
244.
244.
At what it's currently trading at.
You're going to need a bit more for a Tesla. But it doesn't matter now since they don't. Did they actually accept Bitcoin or did they just say they were going to and then that fizzled?
No, I think they actually did.
I wonder how many cars they sold that way.
I don't know. I could be wrong because this may shock you. I'm not actually in the market for a Tesla.
No, I thought they had said they were going to accept it, but I just didn't know if that ever panned out.
Well, part of what is such a big deal about that, the idea is Tesla is a pretty big company and having kind of when you get enough people to start accepting that currency, and it adds a great deal of legitimacy to it.
It adds more value to the currency then.
And so when they announced yesterday that they were no longer going to accept Bitcoin, it dropped 10%. 10%.
You lost coin.
That's a lot.
I know.
That is a lot. So
I think they need to start smaller. Like if I can use Bitcoin for like Amazon purchases or food or something compared to like a car, which I probably wasn't going to get anyways.
Well, the thing about Bitcoin is, at least from what I found, it's hard to spend. Like it's hard.
Not as much as it used to be, though.
Really?
When PayPal got involved, like it's not as much of a hurdle, but it is more like most people just like you keep it in the Bitcoin, like just sitting there.
Yeah.
You never cash out of it.
Yeah. So mine is just like, it's just there. Just whatever.
I mean, are you going to ever do something with it?
No, I'm just going to let it grow.
Just
I'm retiring on that.
Well, leave the information so that years and years and years from now, when you're no longer...
When I'm dead?
When you're dead, you don't want it to just sit there and do nothing. People need to know your Bitcoin exists.
No, because then they'll tax it.
Well, again, I don't think it'll be that much.
You don't know?
I don't know what it'll be like by then.
You don't know? Hey, man, remember when it was just $20?
I know. And Bitcoin's had a big last year. But whenever something has a big, great year, then it usually levels out.
I only need it to multiply by 10 4 more times.
Then you can buy something big.
No big deal.
The Riot Radio U.
As a child growing up, one of my primary concerns was, what do I do if I encounter quicksand?
You were worried about that?
I was.
Was that from a movie or something? Because we're not in quicksand area.
I feel like it was a matter of every cartoon, movie, everything. Like, I just grew up with the thought that quicksand was everywhere, and at any moment I could find myself a victim of quicksand.
Maybe it is. Maybe we just don't realize you could literally come across quicksand like in the park or something.
Well, you know what? In fairness, I do spend most of my time on concrete.
Yeah,
maybe that's where concrete came from.
It's where you felt safe.
We were like, we got to get more concrete down. We're losing people to quicksand like that.
Well, I feel like we would panic, and you're not supposed to panic. Like, that's, I think, rule number one.
I'm already getting nervous.
I feel it, too. It's like if you just threw in a shark somewhere, we would just be losing it. And we're safe. Oh, my gosh,
there's a shark in the quicksand.
No, it's right next to it. It's like you get both of those things.
Okay. So, in Oklahoma, Tishomingo, there was a father and son fishing trip.
Looks like it was Wednesday night.
They say this guy, he's 12 years old. He got stuck in quicksand.
Oh, he got stuck in that evening, and thankfully firefighters were able to respond. It took him 45 minutes to rescue him out of the quicksand.
Yeah.
Now, in movies, whenever I see quicksand, like, you're all alone.
Well, right.
There's like the one branch that's right off there that you have to somehow get to. But thankfully, there were people there to rescue him.
So he ended up his dad managed to free one of his legs, but the other one got stuck. And then the firefighters came and they dug him out. And that took about 45 minutes.
Hypothermia.
Yeah, that's what I think. I guess it's not funny, but they're like, yeah, he's got hypothermia. He'll be fine. No, he's not fine.
Because he has hypothermia.
No, because he's been in quicksand.
So they say that quicksand can develop when the river rises and air is trapped underneath. And then when you put your leg or your foot or anything into that, it creates a suction and you cannot get out.
Terrifying.
I know. I don't want to think about that.
The earth is eating you.
You just don't want to.
Okay, it's eating you. And you're fighting the earth. You're fighting gravity and a vacuum. What?
So you're not supposed to move about because that makes it worse. And then it'll get you more down into the quicksand. They just have to free you. So now I feel like going to watch a YouTube video on
how to get out of quicksand.
How to get out of quicksand, what you're supposed to do with a bear and a shark. So I think we just need to have some sort of knowledge about some of these things that might occur. Probably not, but you never know.
We should be more concerned about how to avoid car accidents, but nah.
This is the
That's ridiculous. It's the quicksand that's going to get us.
That's what you're most worried about.
Terrified of quicksand.
Well,
it's
glad
out
he's
there.
okay.
No, he is okay, but like I'm talking counseling. Like all of a sudden you're in bed and you feel yourself starting to go, I'm okay.
You
I'm
always
okay.
feel it? Oh.
I'm not sinking. I'm not sinking.
Well, hopefully the 12-year-old doesn't experience any of that.
He doesn't have a mind like mine.
Hopefully he does not.
He's just like, oh, that was a one-time occurrence, and I'm sure I'll be fine from now on.
Thankful I'm okay.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So I'm DJing a wedding this weekend. I'm doing that tomorrow. It's actually like it's a long one. A lot of times I end up DJing a wedding. It's like a couple hours. This is like a 5 or 6 hour.
You know how
like affair. You
know how we all hate going to weddings because it's so long. Can you imagine when you're actually working at part of the wedding? It's way longer.
I'll tell you this right now. It's ruined me for going to weddings.
Why? Wouldn't you think it'd be better because it's less time?
No way. I'm like, once you started paying me to go to a wedding, the idea that I'm going to go for free is like, what? Are you kidding?
You'd have to pay Obi if you want him to come, unless you're really close friends. I'm sure he'll be fine.
No.
But no offense, just not everybody likes going to weddings anyways.
So, I mean, like you pay me, I love weddings. You don't pay me, this is trash.
This is the worst.
I'm out. So
but it's their special day.
There's a bride and groom, Nikki.
Yeah.
That's what happens at a wedding. There's a bride and a groom. And they apparently, according to, if this is real, whatever.
Oh, this is the story, not the one for tomorrow?
No. Okay. Thanks for making that.
You're welcome.
That's a good
I didn't know we switched to an actual other group of people.
So there's this bride and groom who supposedly have issued, like you got to RSVP and then tell them like, hey, here's like there's going to be 3 of us or whatever. You send it back so they can get a count for the food. They have come up with gift levels that will decide how much
food you get
or what kind of food you get. So if you're giving a loving gift, that's the title, up to $250, you can have roast chicken or swordfish. If you're giving a silver gift valued between $251 and $500, you can have roast chicken, swordfish, sliced steak, or poached salmon. A golden gift of $501 to $1,000, any of the above choices, or filet mignon or lobster tail.
Lobster tail sounds good.
A platinum gift level of $1,001 to $2,500. It's a 2-pound lobster and a souvenir champagne goblet.
Well, now you know what people are giving if you're looking around and noticing what they're eating. Isn't that like a private thing?
Well, not necessarily, because maybe you gave a platinum gift, but you wanted roast chicken.
I would like anybody to text if it's a yes or no, but is anybody giving that much to their friends at weddings? Because I was thinking more like the $50 to $75 range, especially if you have to ship it. But like, who's giving $1,000 to a wedding thing?
They didn't come to my wedding ever.
Remember when we just said we don't even want to go, let alone have to buy that much of a gift.
No, and then it's
your family too. I wouldn't even give family $1,000 at a wedding.
And then, like, it's not here, but what it should say, double platinum, 2,500 plus, you don't have to come.
You're paying your way out. So wait, what was the lowest number? The lowest amount?
Up to $250. You could have swordfish or roast chicken. I don't think swordfish would be, like, really expensive.
I wouldn't even go anywhere near that price. So, all right, well, thankfully.
It's a weird one, right?
It is, I wouldn't think they'd have as many friends after that one when that goes out. That's a bit assuming of the
amazing.
People. And who has that extra money to give right now?
Somebody does. Like I
could go buy all my own mini lobsters if I wanted to eat at home. And I have a little Instapot. I just put them in there, melt some butter, and I don't have to pay that much just to get my own meal at home.
I'm just going to... I'm good.
File that over there.
Yeah. I mean, now I'll tell you this, though. For a platinum gift level, I'd be happy to come and DJ your wedding. $2,500 or above.
Do you want the lobster or the filet mignon?
I'm going to go with the filet. Normally, I would actually choose chicken, but I'm going to do filet this time.
Well, you don't want to choose chicken if you gave more because you don't want it to, you want people to know which category you were in.
Yeah. Or better yet, I'll just tell them I'm in Platinum Plus and I just won't show up.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Not too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki,
Yes?
it's China's day.
What are they doing?
The Zhurong rover.
Oh, it's space stuff.
China's putting a rover on Mars
All right.
today.
Do we still have a rover on Mars?
What we always will,
We always will?
because it's not coming home.
Well, no, I didn't know if it was still working.
No, it is. Oh, yeah,
it is
yeah,
still
yeah.
working? Okay.
Yeah,
I
'cause
didn't know
that-
if it was like it's here for the week and then whee!
No, that was the big news. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, that like that onboard kind of helicopter drone thing, like they flew that thing around. Like it really has been cool.
Oh my gosh, what was that old show where the two battle bots, like what if our rover's still there and then China's rover comes? Can we
they fight it out?
they could fight on Mars.
It would be awesome.
And we'd actually watch that.
And the implications of what we don't want is warfare in space. I mean,
No, but
we
this
assume
is
we'll eventually.
battling bots. It's fine. And like our bot has a little chainsaw sort of thing or like a saw blade that comes out.
And theirs has like a flamethrower.
Yeah. And we didn't know that ours had all this stuff in it, but the engineers put it in there.
So they say that, China will be the third country to land on Mars. Who's the other?
Who else has something up there?
It's got to be the Russians.
What are you
right?
saying?
I actually don't know who else has been there. Oh, yeah, it was Russia. Russia put rovers on the surface of Mars in the 70s.
Well, is that still around?
And so
Doubtful.
just to be clear, when I said the Soviets,
Sure.
I was right.
Yes.
Because
it was then.
That's who they were.
That
Yeah.
is correct.
All right. So I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Coming to Discovery Plus. BattleBots Mars
BattleBots
Edition.
Mars.
Yes, it's new. We'll see what happens.
You're right. I would watch that.
Yeah, but until then, they'll just, rove around and do whatever they do.
Yeah. You know what? I'm telling you, we're going to go. I'll bet eventually we put a colony on Mars, and it's going to be so disappointing because they're going to get up there and be like, you know what?
There's nothing to do.
It's just like Arizona, except there's no Starbucks.
It's a dry heat. You get nothing else.
It's kind of red and yellow, and there's like nothing.
You don't get to come home. So you're just there.
Sure don't.
Yeah, all right.
But, I mean, that wedding thing we were talking about earlier, you got a pretty killer excuse. Like, you know what? It's really hard to get home because I'm on Mars right now.
Yeah, I can't come down.
So you guys have a great time.
I think they'll find out if you're using that excuse, and that's a complete lie because you're not.
Nikki, they say that
we don't have enough money to even get up there, so let alone come down.
I can't book a cross-country flight.
Without it being a problem. Imagine trying to get up there.
No.
And I know they're like, well, you can win a spot. Nuh-uh. You still can't.
No, I'll win a spot. And they'll be like, well, someone has to go in. You end up just being the radioactive pigeon. They're like, sit here. And anytime we say something, make sure you speak up. And when you don't answer, we'll know there's a problem.
No, you'll be the first to go out. They'll be like, yes, let's send Obadiah out. And everybody waits inside.
We're getting some strange readings from this location. Obadiah, what are you doing? Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Take the rover, go over there.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
The bar can't cut me off.